Recently, I was fooling around with my phone. Take a look at what I found. As you are able to see, my phone is capable of recognizing faces and giving them the level I decide. And it is able to find those faces in the different places in my gallery. Samsung's gallery is able to detect faces, but not only that, it's able to find differences between those faces to find the similar faces. Bear in mind that an image is composed of millions of pixels, which is the basic unit that gains a color. Computationally, this looks like a number between 0 to 255. Just by using this data, these numbers, an algorithm is capable of doing these differences and giving us this impressive outcome. I'm quite sure this is probably done with a neural network. This is a tool from artificial intelligence. Machines are dumb. They cannot see as we see. They cannot understand as we understand. They need tools to do what they do. And one of such tools is the neural network. A neural network is probably the tool that uses this gallery to do what it does. Neural networks are one type of artificial intelligence that is called deep learning. Artificial intelligence is a field of study that searches to replicate in machines the processes that are done behind the human brains. There are two basic types of artificial intelligence: machine learning and deep learning. These two are trending right now, and a lot of big tech companies are investing millions of dollars to develop incredible programs and algorithms that control almost the behind the scenes of everything. Talking about machine learning, for example, they work well doing recommendation engines. For example, the movies and series that Netflix recommends to you are recommended to you by a method that is called k-nearest neighbors, which takes into account data of other users that have the same preferences as you and gives you movies that they liked and you might like. This also works with the ads you see all around the internet. Machine learning also comes in hand when we need to cluster or classify. By finding correlations in the data, it is able to return results in a more classified way. This is done, for example, in the banks when they need to find if a client is a good candidate for a loan, or even in the medical sector to find medical diagnosis. But maybe the best performance comes in predictive analytics, as these algorithms are great tools to predict numerical values, such as the changes in prices of houses depending the sector, or even the case in the stock market. Amazingly, it is also great for speech analysis and speech recognition. So, how does it work? Well, they are pretty much mathematical and statistical models that take advantage of the computational power. These methods are known since the 19th century and the early 20th century. Nevertheless, they started arising with the computational power. As done by hand, they are really tedious and need a lot of operations, so it becomes unreliable. Now you can write some lines of code and in a matter of seconds you will get results with algorithms that iterate through this process automatically. Even more ambitious than machine learning is deep learning. This kind of artificial intelligence is also mathematically and statistically done. Nevertheless, it furthers away from machine learning by standing upon trying to replicate the work done by our neurons. This is why the main method that it uses is called neural networks, and this opens a path to getting even better results with even more abstract data. What is interesting is that machine learning and deep learning develop trainable models. They are trained with some data, and other data already known is given to it for it to predict the results, predict data. Then these results are compared with the real results, and the error between both of them is measured. The algorithm iterates this process, making the measurement of the error as small as possible, therefore becoming more accurate. This is why machine learning and deep learning, artificial intelligence in general, is depicted as machines that are capable of learning. If you remember from our past video, we were talking about machines automating things, but more hand-knitted things. Now we're talking about machines that can do more complex things even better than the humans. So what are the consequences of having them in our society? First of all, it surely affects some jobs. The first one that comes in hand is bookkeeping and receptionists. These things are quite simple to automate. Nowadays you can write some lines of code and it will detect the type of archive and you can redirect it wherever you want. You can even automate emails and all of that. There are also already examples where these algorithms are making better medical diagnosis than the medical personnel. Is some medical personnel gonna disappear? Maybe. Market analysts are also fighting against these algorithms as they are quite good, as I already said, predicting outcomes. One of the most amazing and ambitious projects that now is working on one of the biggest companies in this field, IBM, is a project called Codenet, which will be artificial intelligence capable of programming. Isn't that crazy? A program that can program a machine, learning how it works, is amazing. Programming didn't start yesterday. For a long time, different languages appeared, and those with a high level stayed to create a lot of programs that work in our daily society. For example, COBOL. COBOL is a program that is used in the bank sector, and it is now getting a little bit outdated. For this reason, this Codenet project is going to be capable of translating these COBOL lines of code to more recent languages like C, C++, or Java. It is estimated that around the world there are 220 billion lines of code written in COBOL. Give 50 cents for every line of code for a human to translate it into a language, and you have $100 billion problem that is gonna get solved by a single program. Now the challenge is for that program to understand the context in which those lines were written, as the programmer was thinking something by reading those lines. The program has to be capable of thinking that same thing to rewrite that line of code in other languages. The dataset that is used to train this amazing model to develop this project is composed of 14 million code samples with billions of lines of code written in 50 different programming languages. What consequences is going to have this in the programming sector? Will the job of a programmer change? Will they decay? We have a long journey to see what the effects of this will have in our society. But hey, there are a lot of advantages too. For example, this new artificial intelligence thing is granting a lot of new jobs and a lot of new careers. For example, the machine learning engineer, the data scientist, the deep learning specialist, the financial analyst. All these new jobs are even getting the biggest salaries out there. I'm talking about 6 to 7 figures. So it is getting away a lot of jobs, but it is also giving new ones. It also has helped a lot in the scientific community. These algorithms help a lot, but millions, doing simulations. They work well doing simulations, and this has great repercussions in, for example, astrophysics. We can now simulate greatly how star formation works or how a star decays into a black hole, getting a lot of insights. It also helps in the medical sector, simulating how new treatments will work. It is having a lot of impacts around the scientific fields. It is amazing because now the experimental side of science is getting a really hard turn. Just some days ago, I saw the news of Mario Kern, a quantum physicist that wrote a program that is capable of making better experiments, better quantum experiments than what we used to do. And we are gaining a lot of insights from those computational simulations and learning a lot. And you know what is even more amazing? The fact that all of this is democratized. If you have knowledge in linear algebra, in a little bit of statistics, and a little bit of calculus, there are a lot of courses, free courses, and a lot of documentation out there that you can use to learn how to program and even how to do your own artificial intelligence models. This is what is called open source. And it means that almost everything related to programming has no such thing as copyright, so you can go ahead and use it. Even datasets, that huge dataset I just told you about of 14 million samples of code, it is open for you to see it, and well, you better not download it in your computer because it is gonna break it. But you can go ahead and download a sample of it and work with it and see how it works. At the pace everything is changing, I think it is important to learn new valuable technological abilities such as programming. The future is quite mysterious. We are not sure what is going to happen, and having these abilities will make you more capable to adapt to what will come. Incredible ideas start to bloom when gathering all this knowledge. Who knows? You might be the next person to write an algorithm that solves a current problematic, or even that wins you the lottery by selling it in thousands of dollars. The beauty of programming lies in the fact that you have all the power you need to create and change things that you don't like in your hands. I mean, literally, if you have some tedious task that is bothering you, you can go ahead and automate it. If you don't like Facebook, then go ahead and create yours. If you don't like Google, then go ahead and create your personal search engine. It's gonna take you a lifetime probably, but you can do it. Learn the languages that work for your purpose and you can do great things. There is nothing stopping you. You have the greatest and biggest manual out there in the internet to learn how to use those tools. Ergo, research, innovate, and don't forget to be curious.